The author of the story, From the Soul, reads Anastasia Ivanova. Daughter regrets, please, I have 3 days bread I did not eat. A money I have no, copeeches not left on the cheeks, covered with small wrinkles teaked tears. Here is only the bag with empty bottles is collected. Yes, you said this bread tent, we don't take bottles. You can read at the end of the day. You can write bread you bottles to the point of reception. Yet bored. You will take away, and then there will be money for bread from me. What you want? I didn't know, I am cute. What up to 12 hours reception point works. I never had to collect bottles from hopelessness. I went no longer know where to get the money. Well, sleep less need. Here, tomorrow morning early you give the bottles, then come daughter. Give me at least a quarter of the pound. Tomorrow I give you the money. My head turns from hunger. Was visible that the elderly woman was very embarrassed to ask, but she kept proudly, no ba, I don't do charity myself. Eat ends with ends. I worship here a lot. Walk all, do not delay. The seller switched his attention to the man standing near the tent. He was a constant buyer. Today, your bread favorite brought layers with apricot, fresh, or with cherry yesterday, a good day. The man was completely absorbed by his thoughts, and to the conversation of the seller with the old lady did not listen. I would have the bread of my loved one with nuts and dried fruits, and another 6 layers of cherry with cherries yesterday, patiently repeated by the vendor, with 8 prices fresh, then with apricots. The man thoughtfully looked at the side without noticing the elderly woman who stopped near the tent, and without tearing a glance looked at him from the window of the tent. The seller stretched out to the man of his purchases. He got a thick wallet and paid off with a large note. The look of the man slightly slipped on the face of the grandmother, and impertinently stopped on a large brochure attached to her jacket. An elderly woman was not at all like the beggar, had an intelligent look and a proud posture, was dressed in old but tight clothes. Pavel sat in his car, put shopping on the front seat, and touched the way. Nearby was located the office of his firm. Ivan Petrov, the wife called. You asked to call again. Met his secretary, oh Olga, that started already worried. Pavel, no kind of shouldered girl. Pavel Shadov owned a company for the sale of household appliances. He started small in the early 90s. In just 4 years, thanks to his mind and wisdom, the company significantly expanded. Office of Pavel was on the outskirts of the city. He could afford an office in the center, but did not like to get rid of money. Pavel built a nice cottage in the city, where he happily lived with his wife and 2 sons. In 2 weeks, he was supposed to become a father for the 3rd time, so his wife's call so upset him. Ginoj, what happened? Started Pavel. No yet Basha, here to school call us. Alexei again fought with classmates. Cute, I don't know if I can go. A lot of business at the company. I try to deal with one major supplier. Basha, you also understand me. Will be hard to go. No, you need not go anywhere. Take care of yourself. I will find time, I promise. Alexei exactly from me belt will get the words if he doesn't understand. Sorry dear, I need to work. I am delaying for dinner with me today. Do not wait. Ah, sweet, you are not at home at all. Children do not see you. You are coming. They are already sleeping. You are going. They are still sleeping. I worry for you. You are not resting at all. Well, you will do such a job. I hope in this mode, I will have to work no more than a week. Later, all things will shake up, and when I am in the nursery, with whom we will leave children, I will come up with something. Do not worry, nurses, we will hire. No, I do not agree to leave children for a whole day with an unfamiliar person. Ginatka, let's talk later. I am a bunch of things. Basha, you always have some affairs. Sometimes I think that before me and your sons, you do anything at all. No, sweet, do not say so. All I do for the sake of the family, for you, Alexei, Dmitri, and our daughter who is about to appear in the world. Sorry, I should not have said so. I really miss you. I want to see you more often. All sitting in the office until late. Children were already asleep, and the wife was waiting in the living room. Forgive me, lovely, I said too much today. All in order. You need to take care of yourself. Did not have to wait for me. Go to the kitchen. I will warm you dinner. No thanks, I am not hungry. I ordered the delivery of food to the office. I, by the way, brought you layers with apricots. Great layers. As much as bought anywhere such no as in this bread tent. The pancakes with nuts and dried fruits layers. Yes, good and pancaken. This I with children absolutely did not like pancakens. Paul thought deeply, remembering the elderly woman he saw near the tent. Sweet, go to bed. tomorrow because again not light at dawn in the office. You will go to. Basha tried to break his wife with you. What? Tell me honestly, on you. The moment my thoughts now begin to remember. It seems she asked the seller to give her bread. What horror. But you bought her a bread in that, and the thing that not I had to do, a very important call at work. I was thinking about the details of the upcoming conversation. So, to the conversation of the seller and grandmother did not listen. Now only began to recall fragments of phrases, but not the most important. Face of that elderly woman seems to me familiar, only cannot remember who she is, and this large brochure on her jacket. Paul was a man kind and hard-hearted that the old woman he met near the bread tent did not come out of his head. A man slandered himself because of his dispersion did not provide help to the man who needed her very much. The most of Paul worried that the face, this woman was clearly familiar to him, but he could not remember where they could meet earlier. Paul came to the office very early, began to do some calculations, trying to make in the mind a few simple calculations, whether my head from lack of sleep boils, or whether with mathematics quite trouble smiled Paul. Mathematics, was it Ekaterina Mikhailovna? Cried he. Of course, this is she. Familiar broth. Yes, and jacket all the same, as I did not see her 17 years. Yes, she changed very much. Tamara was a math teacher. She loved literally everything to her. Even the parents of the students followed the advice, and she did not give anyone their attention. Ekaterina Mikhailovna late married, gave birth to a daughter at 38 years. The girl was weak, painful. She didn't become hardly. She turned 3 years after the death of the daughter. Tamara Vasilievna broke up with her husband. Her husband was drunk, but the daughter very much loved. Losing her began to sleep. Finally, all of her unspent mother's love, Tamara Vasiljevna since then, she generously shared with her students. Childhood of Pavel can't be called easy. Raised his grandmother. Parents of Pasha died in the field work in the body of the truck coming from the rough road to the ground. Machine turned over at the time of the death of the parents of Pasha. He was 10 years old. Pasha studied well, diligently. The boy perfectly understood that he has no support, and all in this life will have to the hard work of the teacher praised him for perseverance, even if it did not immediately. Pasha never dropped his hands. At Ekaterina Mikhailovna, he was still a favorite. Pasha being a teenager, not once was at Tamara Vasilievna. She lived in a private house and under various excuses invited. Ekaterina Mikhailovna knew that Pasha with his grandmother lived very poorly, eating not always satisfied. She invited him to lunch several times, but the boy categorically refused to him was embarrassed. So the teacher went on a trick and came up with a different job for him. He was a little, and after work at the table, he was always waiting for a full-fledged lunch. And still, Tamara Vasilievna herself roasted bread in the Russian oven. She was proud that the form for baking got her from grandma. Ah, what was this soft bread? Nothing more delicious in the world, cried Pasha. Well, once, nothing tasty. No, Paul was anxious to see Ekaterina Mikhailovna again, after many years. He had only free time on Sundays, so he bought a bouquet of flowers and went to visit her. He anxiously pressed the button of the call. The door opened, and Ekaterina Mikhailovna greatly changed the face. Condemned eyes lost color and glow. Hello, Tamara Vasilievna, I'm Pavel Shadov. You probably do not remember me. I graduated from school 17 years ago, said Paul. Hello, Pasha. How do I not remember you? Bas, I learned you the other. Sorry, Ekaterina Mikhailovna, I am not immediately. I knew you, and my thoughts, I was absorbed by my own. And I thought you were ashamed of getting acquainted with a poor kid. Tears, straight lines, ran out of the eyes of an elderly teacher. That you, I was looking for you, very happy that found. Paul uncomfortable stretched a bouquet of flowers. Thank you. The last time I received on September 1st 4 years ago. Worked that academic year, and then left work. Well, as she left, asked me forgiveness. Tea cannot offer you a retirement. Only 2 days after tea I drink. You at home. I actually came to get you from my big house. I married, 2 sons soon daughter must be born. No Pasha, I can't sit you on the neck. Yes, and your family will hardly be happy to appear in the house of a strange person. Ekaterina Mikhailovna, if you want to invite to work. I spoke with my wife. She only for our children need a wise mentor and teacher, who, if not you, Alexeyka, son my eldest constantly fights us on the days to school. called If I Do. Pasha. Me for the next year. 70 performs. Cope with how to cope. Gather Tamara Vasilievna. We go to get to know my households. Since the day Tamara was settled, forever forgotten about the need. Natalia could not talk to her. Such an interesting interlocutor was an elderly teacher, a wise graduate woman, the most experienced teacher of old hardening. After a week and a half in the family, happened the addition to the world, appeared a long-awaited daughter, which it was decided to call Sophia. While Natalia was in the nursery, sons spent the whole day with Ekaterina Mikhailova, who was pleased to prepare food for them and helped to do lessons. Paul and Natalia were calm. They were sure that the sons are in the most reliable hands. Drach and Artyomka gaped in front of Ekaterina Mikhailova, although she never raised her voice on him even a half-ton. Apparently, Tamara Vasilievna really possessed the gift of conviction. In any case, about the fighting at school, Alexei completely forgotten. The day when Paul went to take his wife and newborn daughter from the birthplace of the sons, I stayed at home. I was so missed. How you hear, my good? Hugged the sons. Natalia. We all wonderfully smiled. Younger Sergei, Mom, and we with Tamara Vasilievna chicken pea praised Alexei. Delicious. Only Ekaterina Mikhailova says that in the oven is not the same as in the Russian furnace. Is in the furnaces was much more delicious. Dear friends, if the story you liked, put likes, write comments, and subscribe to our channel. I wish you all the best, strong health of the peaceful sky above your head, and always a good mood.